All right, this is Mark Adams with 4Quartersonline, and this is another edition of the Extra Point. We are now joined by Coach John Cooper of Franklin County, head coach of the Seahawks football team. Coach, I really appreciate you joining us here on the Extra Point. Man, I gotta say, since you've taken over, I've seen you really galvanize this football program. It looks as if you guys have really I see everything from improvements to the weight room, improvements to the locker room, strength and conditioning programs going in. And I know you've probably had to have been the one of the busiest guys over the past 18 months. Just looking at how you've jumped into the program and really just every aspect of it, even on social media, I've seen, leaps and bounds. Just talk to me about just how that process has been over the past year and a half for you.
I started back here February of 2023, and this is a special place for me. I was an assistant here in 2017 and loved the time here. I'm from up the road in Wakulla County, and I guess come from just a great program up there. I've been around the other areas, but really this is a special place for me. And what I love about it is there's a desire of need here. You get on Twitter a lot and you see a lot of coaches focus on the X's and O's, and you get coaches that'll tell you it's the Jimmy and Joes. Well, I can tell you my Jimmy and Joes need love. They need like a coach that will establish relationships that I feel like historically hasn't happened here. To give a little breakdown, Franklin County is the consolidation of Carabel High School and Apalachicola High School mixed together. And, AHS, has an amazing basketball history that's carried out through Franklin County. Well, the football is opposite. Historically, it's been very bad here. And we're coming off an 0-10 season, my first year. And I told my seniors straight up, I said, you guys are going to plant a tree that you'll never enjoy the shade in. Just that old saying there. I said, there's realistically, you guys go 0-10. I said, but you're going to build this for younger kids. I said, when I look back at this, we're going to see this. And, we've seen that this offseason, this spring. We went against Hamilton County in the spring in a controlled scrimmage. We post those highlights, and, we've been getting just nonstop from just outside coaches just saying, holy cow, just the change is different. Like you feel like it's different in Franklin County, and we're excited for it. When I first got here, we didn't have one kid bench over 200 pounds. And you mentioned the weight room. That was a big thing. We wanted to build inside out, and that's a core for us is the weight room. Historically, Franklin County's never been, a year-round program for football. Well, that's changed. For you to have a chance at winning, you got to be year-round. We're just excited, man. I look at our schedule. We have 3 teams for the first time: middle school, JV, varsity. We got kids coming out. I ran out of helmets in the spring. We're excited, and for being one of the smaller schools, public schools in the state of Florida that sponsors football, I can't be proud of my kids as much as I am.
One of the things that I think that I've really taken notice is not what the coach posts, but what the kids post.
Right.
When the kids mimic, the excitement, the kind of accolades, or just even the workouts. When the kids start posting the workouts, I'm like, okay, yeah, they got something going.
That's right.
More so because it's you almost gotta not be alive to not buy into football when you're playing it.
Yeah,
it takes over so much of your mind and your body. It's just kind of like, but to see where maybe a kid that might have been in middle school in that community and now has matriculated to the varsity level, it's got to be kind of like a shot in the arm. What have you heard from the kids and the parents who were there during that dormancy phase where there was absolutely nothing? Now inheriting and that's hey, now we've gotten things started.
Yeah. So I talked with my predecessor, Tony Yeomans, who I was under when I was here in 2017. And one of the big things I carry over with him is, Franklin County parents really, just like any other parents, they want somebody in here not to really, to obviously coach football, obviously win, that's coming. But the most important thing is you want somebody that's going to come love your kids, and this is this is the last day of school for me, and we go on a little vacation before summer workouts. That's one thing I pride myself in. In 10 years, I never had a kid I haven't loved coaching, if that makes sense. At the end of the day, they might do something I don't like, and just like all kids do. But at the end of the day, if I coach you, I love you. And that's one thing that I feel like that's been missing here for the 15 so years the school's been operable, is that sometimes coaches are just coaches. Well, I want to love my kids. We go a little bit above and beyond. These kids have it's not necessarily just what they've been given, but just the amount of time spent with them outside of football too.
Yeah, there's there's so much that actually has to go into, that relationship kind of building, because you're kind of or should I say you're from kind of that community, or at least adjacent to it. I look at the Big Bend as just kind of being like, nah, everybody's 30 minutes away at the most.
That's right. That's right.
When I grew up, I was literally 5 minutes or walking distance from grandma's house, auntie's house. And so you're in a community that's like that, where it just has this kind of unique appeal. What was kind of I would say, when I talk to coaches, it's a lot of, X's and O's and putting in infrastructure and stuff like that. But when I look at how you raise the money for the weight room, I said, wait a minute, this guy's he's going business acumen route. Like he's getting out in the community and marketing. What was kind of your mentality when you started having to do the whole shaking hands thing and kind of getting to know people?
Well, for small time rural coaches, it's you got to be a little bit of a politician as well. And that's just the truth of it, or you just don't last long. You don't have to do that when you're up at the 5A, 6A schools necessarily. But rural coaches, you really have to, or you're not surviving. Our weight room is credited to our superintendent, Steve Lanier, and our school board. They handle that aspect. But we've been nonstop fundraising for just nice stuff around here. You walk in our locker room, we have like a little jumbotron around the locker room of like TVs. And like a parallel to my office is like their game room and stuff. It was the cloth room, but you know what I'm saying?
Are you on your phone right now?
Yeah. I'll take you around.
Can you give me a tour?
I'll take you around. Yeah. It's not the cleanest because we got three teams in here.
It's all good.
But let's see if I can take it around. So we got the locker room right here.
Okay.
We got the 4 TVs for them to really enjoy themselves right here. And if they're in here, it's always on. Right now they're finishing up tests and stuff. I think I got one kid in the weight room right now working out. He's got some free time, but we got the new weights and stuff right here, so a big part of football is our competitive weightlifting team. We had 2 kids make the state finals for the first time ever. We got little things like everybody's bought in here. So for instance, like our carpentry teacher, made bench blocks for us.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like that don't happen at every school. You know what I'm saying? Like we got the new bench with the logos. This is we pride ourselves here for competitive weightlifting. It's huge for us. I spent some time in the off season. One of the first people I visited, is Coach Mark Lyles.
Yeah.
At Lincoln, and how well he does with the weight room and stuff. I want to model stuff like that. And we want to transform bodies here. Like I said, we have one kid bench over 200 pounds. Now we got a few over 300, and just night and day difference if you just look at our kids from last year to this year, and it's going to pay dividends. Like if you just see the highlight of our spring game compared to the fall, you'd be amazed.
There's such a growth spurt that happens over that winter when you leave the field in November and going through winter. Like there's so many things just happen. Like not only just growth with the kids, but the mentality of football kind of takes a whole. Tell me if anything. What is the one thing that you were looking for as far as like whether it be mental or physical for your kids to kind of take hold of that you saw in spring that you did not see in the fall?
We talk about it all the time, and this is a big thing for us. Is we're looking for leadership. Leadership on very bad teams. Leadership does not exist.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about, you guys are turning a corner. If I have to be the leader, the best your team can be is okay. If a coach has to be the leader, the best you can be is okay. Usually you won't even make it to okay. But if you have one leader, you can maybe get the good. But if you get multiple leaders out there taking accountability for everything, that's when you start getting to be great. And, I think we have a ceiling here, but I think we have a chance to really crash through it here too. Looking at our schedule, we have a very favorable schedule compared to last season. Last season was absolutely wild for us. I don't think we played one team under 500 last year. And if it was, I think it was maybe 4-6 Liberty County, who was pretty freaking good and pretty freaking huge for our level of football.
Yeah, which is crazy because when I saw them, I was like, they had more size than I expected.
Oh yeah, and Coach Tranquil does a great job over there.
He does. Lots of guys that are homegrown kind of understand the intricacies a little bit better. Do you feel like that gives you an advantage being from the area?
Yeah, so I really, there's only a couple spots that I'm even interested in coaching in, and I love Franklin County because it's very similar to Wakulla County. Yeah. The kids, as far as the kids, you have a lot of blue collar kids. You got sons of oystermen coming out here, crabbers, commercial fishermen, and then I love it. And one of the great things I think we've done too is we have kids out here. Last year, I would say we had double digits of kids that never put on a football helmet until last year. And when you're starting that late, it takes time. But a lot of those kids were basketball kids too.
Yeah,
that's been a proud tradition here. And one of our kids, and I have to brag on him. His name's Jalen McNair. This is his second season with us, and he's going to be pretty special, I think. He was a basketball kid, a kid that traditionally does not play football for Franklin, but plays basketball. If you watched him in the spring and watch a little bit of his highlight tape from the fall, he's going to be special. He worked track hard this year, and there's a few more, but I'm so proud of that senior. And then I got a junior coming up named Eric Smith that I think is going to make some all FACA teams. And, if he was 6'2", 6'3", he probably wouldn't be playing for me right now. But because he's 5'9", and he's special.
Yeah, you never know when them growth spurts are going to kick in.
Yeah, I hope for him it is.
Okay, Coach, let's talk about X's and O's. Talk to me a little bit about what you saw in the spring. Who's coming back? Filling in those shoes left behind by the 2023 team. And just kind of give me a rundown of what you got.
I think last year was my first year head coach, and one of the biggest mistakes I made was we were always in identity crisis, and it was a rookie mistake from me. You could blame all of it on me, but we were trying to figure out answers week by week instead of mastering a system. This year we're mastering a system. We are wing T. We have 7 run plays, about 5 pass plays. We're going to master that system. And, I got a quarterback named Garrison Millender who's going to be a senior that runs the system very well. Last year, we started getting into that system late, and he did really well at that. And I have a junior behind him, Owen Juno, that throws it a little bit better. But, I think those 2 quarterbacks are going to help. And then we have, a few offensive linemen that just absolutely grown and blossom in this weight room. 2 years coming off the 2 years really coming off the ball here. And, I got a couple freshmen that are going to be special. I got, in rural ball, sometimes even a middle schooler might pop up. Yeah. And, we got an 8th grader that I think is going to be pretty special too.
Okay. Yeah. There's, I think for, a lot of schools, especially going out the Panhandle too, there's this huge ebb and flow. Like you see, a big senior class, and then there's a drop off. A big
for us, this is a great cycle this year. Well, I'm very happy with my seniors.
Okay, Coach. Let me know about, and this is kind of the thing that I really have I'm excited to talk about it with you. Talk to me about recruiting, because this is an area that does not get recruited. It's not.
So one of the big things is, Coach Scott Cleese, when I worked at Wakulla, gave me the opportunity to be the recruiting coordinator for them and really help get kids sent to school. And there's so many opportunities now. I can look on a Saturday and scroll through my Twitter feed, and I see, Jackson Oglesby from Wakulla High School playing for Faulkner University in Montgomery, Alabama. DeAndre Strong playing NAIA football in Miami, Florida for St. Thomas. Andrew Huntsberger playing D3 football right there. And then we have the Division I kids from there too. Now, Franklin, college coaches would never stop by. And what I say is I only have a Twitter really because I have, kind of like you, I have a couple side businesses, side brands that make a little money. But the most important thing is I do it for my kids. I have an online presence for my kids. That's the only way you're going to make connections. If the coaches, because we're isolated, we're out of the way. We're an hour and 30 minutes from Tallahassee, an hour and 30 minutes from Panama City, closest things. So, when you're already inherently bad at football, your perspective right now, and you're far away, it's hard. So we get on Twitter and we message coaches every day. We market ourselves every day. And, we get a few to stop by here now. Mm-hmm. And that used to never happen. So when they're coming from Panama City up to Tallahassee or Tallahassee to Panama City, now they take 98 at times. Yeah, which is a big deal for us.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of just, and I said this. I remember I was talking with Coach Thomas out at Sneed's a few years ago, and he had a kid that was, really just blew away the eye test, 6'5", solid linebacker, and he was just like, man, if I can get a couple of coaches to just stop here along I-10, they will see. And it's very weird now how social media has just made that world a little bit smaller. What are some of the ways that you try to take advantage? Because I really, now it just, you rewind 10 years ago, it's just this entire wave of just taking advantage of social media, not only as a recruiting tool, but as a marketing tool for your program. I look at you along with several other coaches. Coach McCray at Lincoln does a great job too.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is the blueprint for being able to not only put your program on the map, but also use it as an opportunity for your kids? What are some steps, that coaches, and I guess I'm gonna try and say this the right way. Coaches are busy.
That's right. And I'll say sometimes you need a younger guy on staff to really help with that doesn't have the family and stuff. My big two things is, one, if the college coaches aren't coming to you, take the kids to the college coaches. June 6th, we're going to the Warner University mega camp. That's for my seniors. Mm-hmm. They'll have 20 schools, and I push them other places too. Realistically, I'm real with my seniors. I say, hey man, you're an NAIA D3 kid. You're 5'10", you're not this 6'3", 6'4" unicorn they're looking for. So, I'm real with my kids. And I think most other people too. And then number two, we educate them of what schools are around them. Because, a lot of kids, we had a kid this year get a full ride to a state, North Dakota, called Mayville State, which is great. But, obviously a kid from Apalachicola is not wanting to leave sunny Florida to go all the way up there. And, so we're realistic with them. You know what I'm saying? So we try to push them to these coaches and schools that are close by, like LaGrange is a good one. They took a ton of kids from Tallahassee this year. Faulkner is a good one in Montgomery. There's Point University. There's a ton of Thomas University right there down the road in Thomasville. Yeah. We try to educate our kids of where these local schools are, what GPAs you need to fit in there, and then I want to be honest and excuse my language, but bug the shit out of those college coaches.
Yeah.
You're a salesman. You're marketing yourself. If Nick Saban's not knocking on your door, you got to find them. They can't find you. You know what I'm saying? Times have changed a little bit. The NAIA D3 school doesn't have the funding to go out and find you. You got to find them.